just want to introduce you to a little taste of hell.
You know, a lot of people may have gone to see Locked, assuming it's a by-the-numbers Anthony Hopkins movie, when he plays a psychopath saying smart-sounding things. That's basically what it is, but when you realize it's also a remake of the Spanish movie 4x4, well, you begin to see how lazy this effort was. Bill Skarsgård plays a low-life individual, you know, the guy who plays in It and Nosferatu. In this case, he wanted to play somebody who wouldn't be in control. Unfortunately, he picked the wrong guy to rob and finds himself locked in a bulletproof and soundproof vehicle. But unlike the original that got right to the point, established what kind of character he was, let the audience find out things for themselves, instead,
the exact opposite.
Obviously, a lot of this movie is still going to be the same, but what isn't serves to make it not as effective. Basically, the whole dynamic the original movie handled so well is completely gone. This is done through a few easy steps, first one being taking your lead Eddie and making him as sympathetic as possible. Give him a daughter, a relatable personality, not a complete thug who pisses inside the vehicle he's robbing. The original did that for a reason. And the guy we're supposed to sympathize with, this time Anthony Hopkins' character William, well, just have him be a psychopath. Originally a guy you could easily relate to, a dying man who's sick to death of crime. He's still dying in this version, but that's it. His sad backstory doesn't come up till later, and by later I mean the end. Sure, he talks about crime a lot, but in this case he's clearly rich, so doesn't justify psychologically torturing somebody who isn't exactly committing crime for pleasure. In the original, you hated the thief, there wasn't anything to justify his actions, so you really had to watch for a while to have any kind of sympathy. In this case, it's immediately clear William is the bad guy. They go out of their way to make that clear, because not only does he run over other thugs, but at one point, even terrorizes Eddie's daughter. You can make the argument it's for a reason to show Eddie something, but she's still probably terrified. He even speeds through traffic, endangering civilians. I know there's a message here, but I think somebody might report that. Funny how the Spanish version didn't need the car to move, but I guess this makes it more fun to watch. As for the ending with the big crowd of people, some demanding the thief be killed, some saying he's still a person, well, that's gone too.
Shocking.
Instead, it's your big climax. Eddie knocks out all the cameras and any form of communication, saying he's through. So Anthony shows up in person, takes him for a drive to kill him, I guess. But Eddie deduces William's daughter must be dead, given his bracelet and other factors, proceeds to antagonize him, and knocks out the plot device piece, causing the car to crash. A bit confusing, he found that plot device way sooner in the movie. Don't have any idea why he had to antagonize him, I guess to make noise, but couldn't he have done that another way? Not really any sense to any of this, but that's way more fun than an actual meaningful ending. That one saw him let the thief go and then head back in the car to blow himself up, something they intelligently foreshadowed, and it was a truly sad ending for a sympathetic character who had a reason to be upset. Doesn't justify torturing somebody, but you can't completely hate the guy. But Hopkins, if I'm supposed to feel bad for him, they did a pretty fucked up job at that. I mean, he harasses children and endangers people. Losing your daughter does not justify that if they had nothing to do with it. If he was a real entertaining character, that would be one thing, but not really anything new here. In fact, his performance is kind of annoying. For the guy who made a cannibal likable, any kind of charm is completely absent here. He comes in, like I said, way too soon, explaining things as they happen, like Eddie shooting himself in the leg. And to be completely honest, he never shuts up. He doesn't seem remotely into it, like he's only here because of the kind of role he plays, but it just isn't that good. I was skeptical about this movie, but I thought he'd bring some kind of enjoyment, but it's like he doesn't want to be here. I mean, Eddie literally passes out when he's rambling about something. It's not supposed to be that way. And since he's just a non-relatable psychopath, it doesn't have any effect. Skarsgård at least does a decent job here, mainly the role he's supposed to play. I'd still take the original, but in that movie he had to be somebody you would hate at the beginning and slowly start to feel sorry for. Eddie, you just feel sorry for, so it's a good enough job. I guess one positive is it's not a copy and paste job. The movie is different, but not in that many good ways. There is one decent moment when he finds out he actually won $500 in the lottery, which he wouldn't have stolen anything. But in the same vein, a lot of things are copied at the beginning that really didn't need to be. Immediately finding a pair of sunglasses, cutting his arm, getting shot in the leg. The injuries have no impact on anything this time, but at least it's not the same movie. The ending is kind of bizarre too. Upon crashing the car off a cliff, it starts on fire. And opposed to looking for an escape, he talks to his daughter on the phone while it's, like I said, on fire. and he buys some pink bike to pick up his daughter at school like he promised he would. That may sound reasonable, but in reality this is right after he escapes. He sells his van so he can do this, and shows up riding on the pink bike. How is that even gonna work? How are they even both gonna get home? This is the final shot of the movie. It's really out of place. So as a standalone endeavor, Locked is forgettable and unimpressive, not terrible. But as a remake to a Spanish language movie we didn't need, it's basically an example of Americans fucking it up. You completely lose the message, there isn't anything better about it, and given the effort they put in, which isn't that much, why even make it a remake? If they want to lazily throw something together and put big names in it, couldn't they think of their own stupid idea?
You ask too much, far too much.
So as it is, Locked is mediocre. It's a lazy endeavor with lazy acting that makes you question why did they even make it. I'm personally not surprised at the quality here, but if you for some reason like it, let me know down in the comments. Remember to like the video, consider subscribing, and the gaming channel is there too for the same content with games. Link in the description. I'm the Analyst, and remember kids, if you want to write something in 5 minutes, at least make it original.